Good day, I'm Bluesuit, and today we'll be reviewing the early access Norse mythology based hack and slash dungeon crawling roguelite that is Arboria. In Arboria, you play as a recently birthed member of a clan of trolls whose way of life is being threatened by a giant underground world tree eating snake named Jormund. And it's your job to dive into the underground world of Durnar, deeper and deeper, level by level, squashing bugs until you take on the snake himself. Arboria is deeply rooted in Norse mythology and has allowed developer Dreamplant to use the already existing Norse universe to flesh out quite a bit of serious lore, mixed with the occasional corny humor, even if much of the lore isn't in the game yet. This is a very early access review, so while there are some things that are really great about Arboria, there might be too much of the game missing for most players to feel satisfied with it. First, let's talk about the good. There are a few things here that really surprised me, and the biggest one is the combat. Likely the most important aspect of a Souls-like rogue-lite game is the fluidity and responsiveness of combat. I was nervous about how it was going to be, because it seems like most indie devs that try to tackle a game like this just can't get it right, but that's not the case here. The controls aren't only satisfying in Arboria, but they're fairly unique and definitely designed to punish players who panic or lose their patience. The roll mechanic, for example, is definitely a new concept. You tap B to do a short hop, but you hold or double tap B to do a roll. Of the two, the roll is the slower, further traveling evade, so you don't want to use it in most situations. As someone who's used to mashing my roll button in panic, that can get you killed here. The combos are also great in Arboria. You have your basic light and heavy attacks, but you can cancel your attack animations with a short hop and catch enemies off guard. It was refreshing to have to relearn certain combat mechanics like this, and it made the first few hours of the game feel really new and challenging. There is, however, one major problem with the combat, and it's probably the biggest problem with the game right now, and that's the lock-on feature. It's just so inconsistent. If an enemy moves too fast, or gets knocked into a wall or an object, or breaks line of sight at all, there's a good chance the lock-on will drop. It's always either made me miss my follow-up attacks, fight with the camera instead of the enemies, or made me think that I just killed the target when I didn't. And right now there are really only 3 weapons and 3 abilities in the game. For weapons you have the light and quick scythe, the slow and powerful sword, and then you have your axe, which is like a balance between the two, with different tiers and buffs attached to them. All 3 have their own movesets and they play very differently while also being super balanced. The abilities, however, are a different story. The shield is just a shield, you hold it up, it's not too fancy. The teleport is a really cool concept, but has very few actual practical applications in combat. And then there's the shockwave. This huge AoE deals damage to everyone around you, knocks them all down, pushes them all back. That being said, at this stage in early access, no one should really be concerned about the balance, and it is nice that there are a few more playstyle options for when you want to change things up. Each of the weapons and abilities, and even the different armors in the game, can come with one of 3 elements that have like a familiar rock, paper, scissors relationship, which was actually hard to keep track of, since for some reason plants beat fire in this game. In the game's current version, you cannot yet take on the great snake Jormund, but you can get a few levels down and fight some mini-bosses. And the deeper you go, the higher the difficulty of your enemies, but also the rewards for killing them. The levels are procedurally generated, but it doesn't feel like it. The rooms are the same every time, they're just in different locations on the map, so it feels a lot like similar maps over and over again. In between each level, you get a free upgrade, full health, restocked potions, and an all-important opportunity to send your Very back up to the surface for safekeeping. This is a huge relief, as when you die, you only lose most of what's in your pockets. Anything you send between the levels remains intact. Death and rebirth are a big part of roguelites, and Arboria handles the latter a bit differently than most games in the genre. You first have to decide how much of your spoils go to the gods. If you give generously, there's a good chance that your next troll will have buffs and better stats. If you're stingy with the gods, your next troll could be cursed. Having a troll with bad vision or color blindness actually affects the way the player sees the game world, and it's a bigger handicap than it sounds. Above ground, you have your village, that has seen better days. In your adventures, you will heal the roots of the Father Tree and mine for the blue coagulated blood of the old god. These are then used in the village to upgrade the weapons that you can find and unlock more features. The upgrade paths that are available to you are pretty standard, but they center around finding better gear while you're underground. However, right now, even though the village is pretty big, the only things in it are the hole and 2 upgrade shops. Most of the paths and additional features are currently blocked off and awaiting development. I don't know yet how much All In Games is going to charge for this game, but I'd put its current value around 11 bucks. Arboria isn't one of those early access games that just needs some final polishing before it's ready for a full release. This is an early access game and it feels like it. A lot of the sound effects and all of the voice acting are absent, and there isn't really much content here yet. However, the bones that this game is built on are extremely solid. Developer Dreamplant doesn't have to spend a lot more time fixing the core gameplay because it's great. They just need to add to it. I recommend this game to anyone who's been following its release with excitement. I think you'll be very pleased with what the game is. If you're still on the fence about buying it after watching this review, I'd hold off on getting it for now and maybe check back in a few months to see what's new. I hope you enjoyed this review of Arboria. Come and see me on Twitch where you can watch our reviews in progress. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Until next time, peace!